Today, I want to talk about Cursor's pricing controversy, a confusing set of events and changes that led to a developer uprising. I'll tell you what happened and then I'll actually share live examples from Cursor's blog and all of the miscommunication that led to this mess. So Cursor, the AI-powered code editor that reached over 500 million in annual recurring revenue, faced significant developer revolt this month following poorly communicated pricing changes that transformed their unlimited Pro plan with 500 premium requests into a usage-based model. Pro plan users now get $20 of API usage credit that they can now spend. Overage charges apply after they go above this $20 allocation. This is a completely different pricing model than what they had just a few weeks ago. And controversy peaked when CEO Michael Trull issued a public apology recently and offered full refunds to the affected users. So on June 16, Cursor quietly implemented major changes to their Pro plan and also announced another higher end plan. And then it didn't really even say what was happening to the Pro plan, and it said, and I'll show you the receipts, that users can keep their 500 fast premium responses if they wanted to. So they implemented a change. They said one thing, and then when people protested, they said, no, we didn't say that at all. They're a company that grows so fast that many people have collectively dropped the ball on many different aspects. And perhaps the same person have dropped the ball because there are only like a few employees in this company. Why do we need to talk about Cursor? The goal is not to drag them down the mud. The goal is to talk about the difference between pricing strategy and pricing operationalization. You can have the best strategy, but if you don't roll this out well, if you don't think what you're going to do about existing customers, if you're not going to have a change management plan, if you're not going to communicate well, then things will blow up in your face like they just did. All right, now I'm going to cover Cursor and exactly what happened. First, take a look at this chart. This chart shows that Cursor reached 100 million faster than any other fastest growing company, even OpenAI, which is awesome and insane. I went into Web Archive and I pulled up some of the earlier pricing plans. So this pricing plan, I believe, is somewhere in March or April, where it shows what they were saying. They were touting unlimited completions and 500 fast premium requests per month and unlimited slow premium requests. Now what it does not say is which model the unlimited slow premium request is going to be used at, and it didn't really have a clarifying section either. So people assume that when they say unlimited they mean unlimited, but they didn't mean unlimited. And this is the one that later on changed. Now what they were doing with this 500 fast premium requests was that they had a list of all of the models that they supported where the fast premium request would be honored. But the underlying pricing was very variable. You could have something like Opus on one hand or Sonnet on the other hand, which have significantly different pricing. And the business tier was still $40 per user per month, and they've now introduced a new one. This is the list of models that they had. So you'll see that Sonnet was around 4 cents and Opus was around 10 cents, right? So significant difference. And the difference between 3.5 Haiku and Opus is 10x the difference. So that's a lot of difference. So they definitely were probably losing money on that if people were running more advanced models, which obviously people would want to use the best models for whatever they're getting. And I understand why Cursor would do this, because they are trying to acquire a lot of users and burn a lot of VC money in order to get that user acquisition to then later on upsell them into bigger things. So all of those things I understand. This is the email that Web Archive said that they had on June 16th. They said we're going to roll out Ultra for a $200 per month plan. And they said while the mass majority of Cursor users are well served by the Pro plan, we had to roll out Ultra. So controversy is not even about Ultra, but I will even cover a little bit about Ultra later on. And he said, we are also happy to report that we're rolling out changes to make our Pro plan more generous. By default, the Pro plan will now follow an unlimited with rate models, and all limits on tool calls will be lifted. Existing users can choose to stay on the 500 request limit if they prefer. Interesting. So This does not sound anything at all. That it almost seemed like they were moving from 500 premium requests to unlimited premium requests. And this is not even covered by TechCrunch or any of the other media companies that have talked about this. See, the problem of their pricing communication is not just that it was mismanaged, but it was downright, you can say it was a lie, because it is saying something completely different from what they actually ended up doing. If they had done this, then more people would have joined, because now they're getting unlimited access to the premium models of their choice. So then they changed this. When they changed it, they said, okay, by default, the Pro plan will move from request limit to compute limits. All users will get at least $20 of model inference at API prices per month. Concurrent with this change, we're rolling out unlimited access to the auto model and lifting all limits on tool calls. Existing users can choose to stay with the 500 request limit. Okay. So this $20 was not even published 2 weeks before this. This is the first time you're even seeing this. People had started to run into issues even before this. So they had implemented what they have written here, but they did not write that. In fact, they wrote something different. And their clarification on unlimited to auto model means that you don't get just any model. And if you don't get just any model, how is that different from the unlimited that they were previously claiming? It was not different at all. Then they made another blog update. And now they said, by default, the Pro plan will move to request limit to compute limits. Concurrent with this change, we roll on and unlimited. So this July 3rd and June 13th, there is not really a change, right? It's the same thing. And he said we updated this blog on June 30 to improve clarity. So I have taken snapshot at all these dates. So July 3rd was retaining this June 30th. Now, they had another post on July 4th and said, this is what we are saying. We are saying that new Cursor Pro plan gives you unlimited usage of tab and models in auto, $20 of Frontier model usage per month at API pricing, and option to purchase more Frontier model at usage cost. So that auto model is whatever they prefer, right? So Frontier model is all of the models they had already lifted there. And he said, we have previously described our model as with model usage as a rate limit, which wasn't an intuitive way to describe the limit. It is a usage credit pool for the month after you've exhausted your credit. We still give a short grace period beyond the credit pool. First of all, how does rate limit have anything to do with credit pool? Like, it is not an intuitive way. It is a downright lie, right? If this clarification makes it sound like a lie, you could have previously said, hey, this is downright incompetence. And it was not even incompetence. In my opinion, this is such a fast growing company that you're bound to get 180-degree different communications, and that is okay. But this English does not even compute for me. Rate limits has a particular meaning which is not the same as usage credit pool. That is a completely different meaning. If you exceed your included usage and do not want to use models in auto, you can enable a spend limit. Okay. The problem is that this July 4th blog completely removes the option of you can keep your 500 premium requests. So not only have they clarified, they have not addressed what was there in the previous two incarnations of this blog post, which said that you could have what you had previously, which is why people started blowing out of their budget, because they had removed the option which they said users can keep. So you can understand why people would be very frustrated. This is what is their current model. This is the current pricing page. Now it says extended limits on agent, unlimited tab completion, access to background agent. So it is still, if you were a new user and you came to their pricing page, you would not, the $20 credit option, you don't understand what they're even giving you. It's not clear. Not only is that not clear, you don't know what 20x usage on all these models over Pro mean. 20x of what? Because Pro itself is not well defined. Even today, after the clarification, it is not clear. It is quite a bit of a surprise that they are so wildly successful. In fact, they're the most successful company. So they must have a really solid product, because their pricing page doesn't really clarify what they offer. And now when you click on more info here, you come here and you get this requests option, 225 Sonnet requests, 550 Gemini requests, and so on. Now they're not even offering the request model. They're offering the credit limits model. So this page having content on request, which was there earlier, should have been updated. And they're now talking about limits. How do limits work? Each plan includes monthly agent usage budget computed at API prices. For example, Pro includes $20 of usage per month. All right, this makes sense. But shouldn't it be written here so you understand what this plan really gives you? Nobody really wants to use the automated model. People want to use the best models. So that's my take on the cursor saga. It is the correct pricing change, but very botched communication. In fact, it is not even botched, it is not even missed. It is almost deceptive. That being said, I still do not ascribe this to malice. I still ascribe this to you are 20 people trying to get $500 million in revenue. I don't even think that they have time to sleep. So this is going to happen. Thank you.